Hello everyone. I'm addicted to Instagram now. I finally got it. I'm Angelo. I'm a filmmaker in Los Angeles. Been homeless for a month in Los Angeles, 6 months before that in Virginia. I was at this filmmaker, these two events for filmmakers. This Tiffin open house. They make a lot of, or they had a lot of camera stabilization gear there. And then this event called Cinebeer, where a bunch of filmmakers get together. They have drinks. I didn't drink anything except water. And they have a bunch of vendors there, demonstrating their lenses, their monitors, lights, all that stuff. And 5 or 6 people asked me, "Are you on Instagram?" so that they could, connect with me. Because a lot of people don't even bother with email or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't have it. Fine, I'll get it. I thought I made an Instagram profile before. I never used it. And that was like Twitter too. I made a Twitter account in 2008. Never used it until 2013, I think. Because I was like, what's the point of this? Who cares? You're posting what you ate for breakfast and stuff. And actually, already I'm addicted. I'm like, haha, cool, I uploaded a picture. Let's do another one. I'll do another one. I don't get how you find new followers though. Because you have to find them off Instagram, right? Because you can't share other people's pictures. I thought that was a thing, regramming it, where you can share it, retweeting something, but you can't do that. I don't know. Let me know if you can, but follow me on Instagram. That's what I'm saying. I'm apparently you can change your username on Instagram too. There's a when I go to edit my profile, because I wanted to see the settings and everything, there's my username and I could change it. So I'll just leave it now I have a glove. I'm putting gloves on. These These are Dollar Tree gloves from Virginia. They melt in the sun and they get all sticky, but I had to take it off. Let me put the phone down so I could put this on. I had to take it off to hit record on my phone. Oh, and I got my Available hat. That's from Ben, my new friend, who he worked on the Available app with 2 other people. But it's a great scheduling app. Oh, what is this? They got a tree place back there. There. Apparently this phone really does reverse the image. Somebody said that. It does, because one of the pictures I put up, I had my Angelo's mom shirt on. It was totally backwards. I'm going to the YouTube space tonight in LA, the YouTube studio. There, it's I'm not going to shoot anything unless they want me to, or let me shoot something on my phone. But it's for the to be able to unlock it. So basically, I have to go get an orientation before I'm actually allowed to have access to the studio and book it, and it's free. So that's really cool. Follow me on Instagram. Oh yeah, so my username on there, it's Flying Over Trout AM. So you look up. It's the same spelling. Oh, I got to include it in the description of all these videos. How do I do that? What's the link to it? Do I just link to my profile? Oh, it's on my channel page. I don't know stuff. Man, I got to figure this stuff out. But yeah, Flying Over Trout, and Trout's with the 0, just like my channel name, AM. And that's my initials. I want to bring this up. This is cool. So, first of all, a lot of stuff's happening. I'm still barely, getting by, but I'm not barely getting by. Because I'm, building, so many important things that need to happen right now. And I'm meeting so many people. I actually have to slow down. I spent practically a quarter of the day yesterday just emailing people, and I sent everyone individual emails that I met at these film events, and I didn't even have much time to write. I rewrote a little bit my screenplay. I'm almost afraid to go back to it because I actually I have it marked as the 7th draft. It's really more than that, but a 7th draft of my short film, and then I'm going to need feedback on it and all that stuff, and I'm sure there's still going to be important changes made to it. I just found this little park in LA to go to. I'm in this is my goth nerd outfit. I found out my phone shoots super slow motion as well, 960 frames per second. It does that stupid speed ramp crap though. So when I press it, first of all, it can only record a few seconds of super slow motion footage, but I don't know how to time it. It's like I try and film, and whatever is happening, it seems like it's right away. It's like sometimes it seems like if I tried to film, so I just did a test video. I dropped one of these gloves in front of the camera and really close, so it fell completely in slow motion and it's falling really slowly. I tried it like right away, and it was before it even before the slow motion kicked in, and it was still in the regular speed before it speed ramps. And then other times I try and wait a little bit and wait even less and less, and it would be well after the slow motion. So I'm watching slow motion of nothing, and then at the end a glove just drops in like a quarter of a second. So I couldn't figure it out. I can barely time it right. So it's just, get rid of the speed ramping. Come on, it's ridiculous. Just give us regular old slow motion. Anyway, so yeah, I realized I can't go to a ton of events like that. I can, but I should stick to 1 or 2 a week. That's it. Really kind of 1 a week, because I go up and I meet so many people. It's hard to, I want to make sure I've got time for everything else. For filming, even today, I got to go to the 99-cent store, get stuff. I went to the food pantry before this. I got to write, and then tonight I'm going to the YouTube space. And then I got other videos I'm working on too that you all don't know about yet. Oh, you don't even know. And I just got other stuff to do, got other events to go to. Still want to do some yeah, see, this is sticking so bad. I got to get better gloves. Also, I don't know if these protect from the sun so well. All right, so here's a topic for the video. Oh, plant nursery. That's what that is. That thing. Here's a topic for a video. People really love to suck up to rich people and revere them. It's so funny. People are like, well, if you're homeless, you deserve what you get, or you should have to live a certain way or something. I don't get what's the special status about having a home that makes a person deserve to be treated differently, or they need to live differently from others. I don't think so. That's your problem. That's a personal problem. Leave it on you. Here's a good example of how to deal with this stuff. I read an article about, I'll try and remember to put it in the description, about how in Helsinki, Finland, they're giving away housing to homeless people. There's some conditions on it, but they're just giving housing to homeless people. And it's the only country in the European Union, Finland, that's going down in homelessness. Other countries, it's going up. And people who want to say, well, it's going to be too expensive, that's not a legitimate concern. Because it's actually less expensive than letting people be homeless, letting them get sick, struggle for food, the issues with, disease, mental illness. Makes so much more sense to get them in housing, and then that lets them take care of their hygiene, get medical care, get jobs. It saves money. It's so much better. That's on top of the police interaction. I don't know what the police are like exactly there, but it's so much more reasonable if you're just worried about the cost. So don't even mention, oh, how are you going to pay for it? How's it? That's very expensive. It's not. It's actually better for everybody if you just give people free housing and make sure they don't go homeless. So that's what you have going on in Finland, where they said, we're trying to cut down on the amount of overnight shelters, of temporary shelters, temporary hostels. We're trying to stop all that. It's weird seeing someone behind me. They said, we're trying to deal with this, on a more permanent basis. So We can do that if we want. Just people don't want to. And you see how people go and actually praise, like they're like desperate for rich people, almost like to recognize them as one of their own. Like, how desperate are you for that? You actually want, like, you want to believe, like, oh no, if you're poor, you deserve it, and therefore somebody else who's working hard, who's making a lot of money, they actually worked. It's not that they have investments. It's not that they had rich parents. It's not that they use laws that are predatory and that were written by people to shut out poor people, women, black people, brown people, immigrants. No, they just say, well, it's just how it is. You didn't work. See how you all buy into that myth? But look what's happening in Finland. How's that possible? How does that make any sense? You all think that people are homeless because of a weakness or they're lazy or something? That's not happening. That's not the case. So you can't deal with the facts. That's how simple it is. Go look up what's happening in Finland. It can happen in other countries. People just don't want it to, because not only rich people, they have a material interest in maintaining their status, and I'm convinced a lot of that is just they're so accustomed. People become used to what their role is in life, and when you're used to seeing brown and black people who seem poorer than you, or you move into their neighborhood because you're gentrifier, which, I mean, I don't know if I'll end up doing that too. So, I can't just act like, I'm different from anyone or better, but yeah, they act like when you move in somewhere, oh, you don't want to know the people that live there, you're better than them or whatever. Or you don't want to know you want the service of poor people around you at restaurants, as your valets, as your dry cleaners or whatever. You just don't want to have to treat them like human beings. You don't want them seeing them as neighbors, like, what the hell? How'd that person get in a house like mine? That's not fair. I'm better than them. I'm white. I worked for this. I earned it. Maybe if you worked harder, you'd be white as well. That's the mentality of a lot of you people. And it's so funny. It was how I was raised. It's how I was taught to believe. It's how I was taught to regard homeless people as well. And it becomes like this code that's in you that you don't even look at. You aren't even aware of it. It's just a shadow cast over everything. So you're like, what are you talking about? This is just how it is. Look at Finland. They're dealing with homelessness. How come homelessness isn't just exploding? If they're giving away homeless or housing to homeless people, and you think, no, that's not good. Homeless people are just lazy. They're going to take advantage of that or something. I don't know what the argument is. You guys never finish the argument. You can't. There's no argument. It's, I want someone to feel superior to. People love to feel superior, to look at someone else in the news. They first love to think that they're one day going to be rich, or that somehow they deserve what they earn. And also they love to ignore the fact that either they're partly responsible for making other people poor and homeless, or that other people are poor or homeless because of rich people taking advantage of them, paying them too little, making a ton of money off them, and then, guy's chasing his dog, and then they count on you all to revere them, like, oh, they're so great, they're so powerful, these people, they're geniuses, they work so hard, when it's really, so much of it is connections, is, your ability to work, meaning like whether you're sick or not, or whether you have disabilities. A lot of people, they can't control that, can't control a lot of chronic health issues. But it's easy because it's easy to look down on them as somehow lesser because it's comforting. Oh, it feels good. Sit on my butt. It's so nice to sit back and judge others. It's hard to do that up close. And that's what I'm learning living in my car, which is, this is, different from what I thought it would be like. For a while, I was really embarrassed to tell people live in my car. I won't tell them unprompted, and still a lot of times I won't necessarily say, like, if people ask where I live, I just say, like, oh, I live around different places, where, like, I just stay around different places. I don't have an address yet. This is not a big deal, really. The issue is, why are so many people homeless? It's not laziness, it's systemic, it's by design. And you can question why, like, why don't you work harder? Why doesn't this homeless person get, so many homeless people there? They tell the myths about them, their lies, that they're on drugs, that they have behavioral or mental problems, and they act like it's like they're mad. This is how brainwashed they are. They get angry at individual homeless people and say, you should get a home, you should work harder, get a job. But if that happens, that's just one person who's getting a home. Or you could point to the whole system, which allows predatory landlords who are making millions, who aren't satisfied with what they're making, to make even more by evicting more people, by intimidating them, by suing them for eviction, by finding any little rule they can evict them for, like walking their dog without a leash, by shutting off their utilities, by harassing them, by using loopholes in the law like the Ellis Act, to lie, to say we're going to use someone's housing for some purpose, we're going to buy it, we'll be the landlord, and then change their mind and say, oh, we're going to run a business here, we want an office, we want a restaurant, like where I was demonstrating the other day, the LA Tenants Union. That's what they did. They opened a restaurant, and there's a law which says if you're going to convert housing into like non-housing, basically you can evict everybody. They don't have any recourse. So you'd all rather believe those myths that rich people are playing fair and that actually it's poor people's fault that they're poor. So you blame an individual poor person and say you should work. You'll waste all that energy. It's amazing for all you talking about the need for hard work. You don't want to do any work. You want to complain to poor people anonymously on the internet, but then when it's time for rich people who are by far the biggest polluters, by far putting more people into poverty than any individual person who's fallen into homelessness, and you're not willing to put the effort into saying, okay, these people need to change. There needs to be a structural change where housing is equitable. We have housing with dignity, jobs with dignity, jobs that pay well. No, you're not worried about that. You're not worried about getting millions of people into good living conditions. You're just like, hey, I want to make myself feel comfortable. I want to perpetuate that feeling myself that I'm righteous to someone else. Let me find another poor person to look at, and I'm going to complain about them. It's not so comforting to complain at rich people, because then that makes you question what your own plan is, what your own idea about how you can be wealthy, live comfortable, and who deserves what. It's really, you're not even going to be rich, most of you. What's comforting about revering the rich and ridiculing and demonizing the poor is that it gives you a sense of self-righteousness and superiority to someone else. And that is very comforting, and that's like, it's something almost like you need to keep sustaining it by exerting that influence over and over, by saying, no, you're a poor person, you're bad. You're another poor person, you're bad. You're poor, you're still poor. Why are you still poor? Funny, you're worried about one poor person at a time. You're not worried about billionaires and millionaires who are keeping millions of people in poverty. How come the Walton family is like the richest family in the country, or one of the richest families in the country, and so many people who work at Walmart are on food stamps and welfare and live in their cars? Why is that? Why are we giving away millions of dollars to Walmart? And we do. We give all kinds of subsidies to them. They barely pay taxes. We do all kinds of favorable deals for them, like zone land for Walmarts, kick people out. While Walmart doesn't give a damn about their employees. Why do we do that? And yet we don't look at the Walton family and say, this is horrible, this is obscene, you're all doing wrong, No, we look at the people who are being screwed over by those policies, and we've been so conditioned and brainwashed to blame them for the very policies that rich people perpetrate on them, and because it gives us a feeling of superiority. Like, yes, I side with the rich people. They're smarter than you. They're not smarter than anybody. They may not have as much of a conscience as some people, because they're willing to do that to others, and it somehow doesn't bother them to the point where it's like they're always looking over their shoulder wondering, how can I live with myself, knowing that, this guilt will catch up to me. I'm not worried about that. So take a look at what's going on in Finland. Good, I'm under a tree. I can stop with all the protection. It's still bright. All right, everybody. Well, at least you can see my hat now. I keep wanting to say appliance. It's the Available app. Check that out. Check me out on Instagram. I'm still talking to my mom nearly every day. We are going to film again, and there's a lot more coming. You don't know. You don't know what kind of videos are coming. Believe me, I got plans. So I've already filmed too long. I got a lot of stuff to do.